a lot of the Onyx guys have been calling me Comics Daddy for years.
Okay.
And then I just caught my students calling me Comics Daddy, which was a little bit of a uncomfortable sort of Venn diagram of overlap, you know?
Well, the good thing is we've already started recording, so we get all that. And welcome back to What's a Safe Word? I'm Amp.
I'm Justin Hall.
And today we have a stand-in daddy, but by no means is that a belittlement, unless that's something you're into.
No. I think of daddy as a daddy's an honorific, so I'm all into it.
Well, today I have a wonderful guest on the podcast as daddy is out gallivanting and traveling the world. This is Justin Hall, not only friend, but wonderful American cartoonist and educator who's written and illustrated autobiographical erotic comics and edited No Straight Lines, a scholarly overview of LGBT comics. Of the previous 40 years, he's been associate professor of comics and writing and literature at the California College of Fine Arts. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Thank you so much. I just was promoted to full professor.
Oh,
I know.
Google. I'm so sorry. You can punish me later.
Okay.
We had a very wonderful conversation at a library. We had our clothes fully on probably, and it was definitely not leather edition. And so I wanted to have you on today to just talk about queerness, to talk about comics, to talk about just nerdy.
Yeah, let's get nerdy.
Tell me about your spider bite, maybe both in kink, but also in comics. Like what gets your spider boner going?
I grew up reading comics. It's how I learned to read. And I just never grew out of that phase, so to speak. Always wanted to make comics, always was very clear about it, and took a while for me to get into the business of it. But yeah, I ended up getting into teaching comics at the California College of the Arts. I even taught comics at a Buddhist university in Chiang Mai, Thailand, for like a workshop. And I mean, just sort of random shit everywhere.
That's not something you just nonchalantly add in there, Justin. My God, that's impressive.
A mic drop. It was actually fascinating because I discovered that Buddhist monks have a hard time with conflict. You
discovered that? I think they're written into every comic and lore of every pop culture. I think that's well known by everybody, Justin, actually.
It's actually probably literally in the book, whatever
that
book
right?
may be. Right? But it was great. It was like a wonderful experience. And I do love, teaching comics process and history, to different kinds of people around the world, because every culture has some form of comics. If you really think about comics in a broader sense of anything that combines text and image, or as sequential art, images aligned in a sequence to create a narrative.
I think the commonality, stories. People want to tell stories.
Absolutely.
People want to share stories.
Yep.
Morals, anecdotes.
Yep. And we've been doing this forever, right? Like, I mean, even the earliest cave paintings were sequential art. So that you could argue that comics is really one of the oldest forms of storytelling.
When our podcast started, it was literally just chiseling it into the walls.
It was a cuneiform.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. We were in the dungeon, but we were making it, just chiseling the stories out of what we wanted to do. So I would love to parallel that. Like comics for me, I was an awkward little nerdy kid.
What?
And
Really?
Shh, don't tell me. I was also gay.
I see you.
I was also gay. I'm sorry, does that make you
I'm
uncomfortable? I know how much of a... I always remember Saturday morning cartoons. I'm a huge anime boy. So while comics make a lot of sense to me, I might not read all the comics today that we'll talk about.
I grew up with more American comics for sure. And the superhero stuff was the stuff I grew up with. But also, actually, I grew up with some European comics. So Tintin and Asterix. Which
okay,
and I love those characters. But then in terms of superheroes, I do remember a sort of sexual awakening of, when I first saw Wolverine with all the chest hair drawn in. And that was a moment. It was a moment.
I bet.
So a fun fact is that male superheroes, they weren't allowed to draw nipples or body hair or packages until around the 80s when George Perez and John Byrne started doing this. And Timberwolf was actually in the Legion of Superheroes, was the first superhero to have chest hair. And then Wolverine was the first sort of major one.
Wow, that's quite a superpower, chest hair.
Oh,
I wish I had that superpower because I don't. But also in American comics, it was not always perfect.
Right.
Because the CCA was this kind of archaic ruling that was around specifically what we would call American, the golden age of comics.
Yeah, the golden age of comics, which was in 1938, which was when Superman first came out.
Superman came out? Yeah. Was this after or before the pink kryptonite? Because isn't that the one that makes him gay?
Yes,
okay.
Apparently. But then, by the end of the war, superheroes had gone out of fashion, and there was all this crime and horror comics and romance comics, and they were getting increasingly racy. There was no censorship. There was no, regulations at all for this kind of material. You got to the point where there was just shock value was, sort of, all the publishers were trying to one up each other in terms of shock value. So there was this famous cover of a man with an axe, like holding a decapitated, head of a woman on the cover of this magazine. And it's, mostly young boys that are, buying these things. So you could understand a little bit of the
concern, maybe, yeah.
Exactly. But it then became a cause célèbre by this, in particular, the psychiatrist, Frederick Wertham, who wrote this book called Seduction of the Innocent, and really built it into a fever pitch. And there were comics burnings all over the country that in front of churches and schools. People were like asked to take out their comics and throw them into bonfires. There was so much pressure on the industry at that point that they decided to self-regulate, similar to what the movies had done with the Hays Code. Comics were still thought of as only a form for kids, even though the comics readership was steadily growing older. So they regulated it to be the sort of harshest version of like a G rating as possible. Yeah, really crazy strictures. Like you can't have any werewolves or zombies or undead in the
too
comics.
Sexy.
Yeah, too sexy. Too like no sexual perversions. All sexuality must be towards the sanctity of marriage.
It can't be hinted or portrayed kinds of sex, especially between anyone that might be homosexual.
No, it's the dare not speak its name. All villains must lose and be punished for their crimes. You can never show and not in a fun way. You never showed disrespect for a figure of authority, like a police officer or a judge or a teacher or something like that. I mean, it's really kind of wild how intense the censorship was, the regulations were. And it almost killed the industry. Almost like a half of the comics publishers went under within like a couple of years. And we almost lost the industry entirely. And all that was really left was, so all the crime comics and horror comics and romance comics all vanished. And all that was left was like Archie and funny animal comics, but then also the last remaining superhero comics. Superheroes had been out of fashion, but there was still a few of them moving on.
When they could only wear 3 different colors, what kind of fashion were they supposed to have? It was like blue, yellow, and red. What were you supposed to do with that?
Just the primary rainbow.
Literally.
That's about it. So then superheroes get reimagined in the Silver Age, because that's all that's left. So that gets reimagined by Marvel Comics, and DC Comics follow suit. And then you wind up, that's why the American comics industry is so dominated by this one genre, which is really weird, right? It would be as if, all movies are now. And it's also interesting because I've had this discussion with both fans and other creators that, what sort of responsibility do you have to present different kinds of bodies and different kinds of people that you may not be attracted to, but you want to show different kinds of people being sexy. I mean, you look at Tom of Finland, and he was drawing the same guy over and over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. He was attracted to one dude,
and that's fine.
And that's fine.
But when you start to become iconic, when you are representing a community, as Tom did, there was some backlash, there was some feedback, and there was change that happened. Yeah, because not only different people of different nationalities being represented in that art later on, but also taking the forefront of like condom use and making sure that we talk about that. And yes, he wants it to be raw next, but we still have to encourage and incorporate teaching in the stuff that we create, in the artwork that we make.
Good representation can really, save lives, right? Like, I mean, having queer superheroes out there literally have saved people from, young queer kids from really dark shit. So it's, representation absolutely matters. And I like to represent men with nipples and underarm hair. And
same. And I want to find out what you also like to represent here in a second. But when we talk about headspace, we can't forget to talk about today's sponsor, who puts me in the perfect headspace with a perfect night's sleep. And is, oh my God, Daddy, not right now, on today's sponsor, Helix Sleep. Who knows that play, sleeping, and just being comfortable is very important, especially when you spend a third of your life in bed. One of our longest running sponsors, Helix is the one-stop shop for mattresses and bedding customized to fit your needs, and they find that perfect mattress for you using the Helix Sleep Quiz. Quiz you can take by yourself or with a partner, and it's going to get you the perfect mattress, starting with all your personal details, height, weight, what mattress you're looking for, as well as how you prefer to sleep in the bed, and the desired firmness. Based on our test results, we got a Helix Sunset, and we love our Helix mattresses, which we've had for over 3 years now, and both of us independently have been sleeping like rocks. When I'm not sleeping in my bed, I do not sleep well. And when it comes to sex, Helix also does great there as well because they're one of the most awarded mattress brands, but also did a Wesper sleep study showing that 82% of participants who switched to a Helix mattress saw an increase in their deep sleep cycle, participants averaging 25 more minutes of that deep sleep cycle per night and 39 more minutes of overall sleep per night. The best part though is Helix Sleep delivers directly to your door with free shipping in the US, and it comes rolled up in a lovely little box. And when you open it, you get the patented daddy sound. If you guys like me are very nervous to buy things online, you'll also be very happy to hear that Helix has a 100-night sleep trial. So you get more than 3 months to make sure you love it. Plus, Helix has a 10-year warranty on your mattress, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans. So don't wait, check out Helix Sleep right now for their exclusive partner offer, which you can get by going to helixsleep.com/watt, and you'll get 27% off site-wide. And while we love our Helix mattresses, Helix also recently dropped a brand new topper collection. And we know a thing about topping, whether we're at a sex party or not, which is a great option for sleepers looking for added pressure relief on their hips and shoulders. So if you're looking to make an old mattress feel more comfortable and brand new, check out the 27% off exclusive partner offer, one of their biggest sales of the year, and what a perfect time to get new bedding just in time for the new year. Back in the day, I used to help run anime conventions in Seattle. So I was making 20 to 30 costumes a year for anime conventions.
You were fully down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, from like Rurouni Kenshin, Street Fighter, Buso Renkin. Like,
why did you gravitate towards manga as opposed to American comics?
I was always a Pokemon boy, Digimon growing up. One of the very first anime I ever watched was Sailor Moon because Dragon Ball got boring after 20 episodes where the spirit bomb still isn't done. Whereas when is the spirit that if you want to talk about my favorite kink back in the day, edging, you know, because fucking watching a 30 episode arc where it's just but the piggy balls aside, and I do like pig balls, anime conventions were just this place where queer people and those that are creative or just like anime could get together and vibe and find community. And if there's one thing the kink community is very good at, it is community. So I found my community, I found my anime, and I found Toonami at a young age. That was my first taste of fandom. That's where you got Yu Yu Hakusho, Outlaw Star, Big O. Like I don't.
So there's a melodrama I think that you're attracted to.
I don't know what you mean.
There's also, I think, a bingeability aspect to manga anime. Now there's more manga being sold in America than American comics.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Oh yeah, and I think one of the reasons is that this bingeability factor. So if you were like, oh, I really love Spider-Man, or I really love Spider-Man, where can I find some more Spider-Man? Well, where do you go? Do you go back to the 1963 Spider-Man? Do you go to the Ultimate Spider-Man? Do you go to Miles Morales? Do you go to Peter Parker? But if you're like, oh, I like One Piece. Okay, there's One Piece number 1 through 550
Justin,
or whatever.
You just said a very dangerous word.
Oh no.
2 words actually. One Piece. I'm just letting you know. You've been warned.
Okay.
But you can say more.
I literally don't have the time.
One Piece has some of the best storytelling in queer media. It's only a few characters here or there, but they're so queer. No one gives a shit that there's trans storylines. Like, and when I say no one gives a shit, the people and the characters in the show are like, so and so. Oh, I hate her, or I don't like her, and they're like, actually, him, and then people just like, oh, okay, fine,
cool, whatever,
There's characters that have abilities where they can literally like. It's quite literally Frankenfurter. There's a character in One Piece. His name is Evenkov. He has the hormone fruit ability, so he can change different chemicals in the body.
And you realize that One Piece is the best-selling comic of all time anywhere globally.
Justin, who do you think you're talking to right now?
It's for the reader. It's for the audience. It's for the audience.
No, they know too. Okay. Why comics? What do you enjoy about it? Like, what can we find in a Justin comic?
It's the best art form in terms of what I want to consume and also the way that I want to create a story. I've just been sort of drawn to the artistry of it for a long time. Comics can do things with time and space that no other form can do. Because they're an allegorical language about time and space set, on a static page, as opposed to like animation or movies where it's a direct correlation, right? Like what you see takes place in the time that it takes to happen. You can obviously do slow motion and fast motion, stuff like that, but as opposed to comics where you can lay on top of it, all these different time frames on top of each other, you can dissect space through the different panel layouts and page designs and gutters, and there's all this flexibility with how you portray time and space that's really, really exciting. And can be very poignant also for certain moments like that. Also, you can illustrate anything you want, right? Without having to worry about a budget, right? So you can have centaurs, fucking whatever, and you don't have to worry about creating a CG budget.
Yeah, but that's what we're doing. I love not only the intersection of the style of art. I mean, I love bara. Bara back in the day was like one of my guilty pleasures. There were many that I would find. And I'd be like, daddy. I will say, even in bara art, there's less kink than I would like. And I love muscle worship, but I wish there was more. There's lots of great kink artists out there, but I wish there was more.
I mean, but some of Tagame's work got so kinky.
Oh, Tagame is perfect.
Or I mean, you know, to full on mutilations and like really intense.
Well, that might not be my thing, but that's okay. But like, I want like more puppy play bara porn. I want more like, I want more kink, and I'm a little bit more fetish objectification. Like there is tons in Tagame, for instance, and there's many other.
Lots of play piercings or, you know, piercings and
like stress positions, bondage, metal, rope, gags, lots of sounding. And I'm not a sounding boy, but like there is that representation there. I want some more fetish too. Shout out to our bar artists. Give me some fetish content. Well, I would love to know a bit about what inspires you or what characters inspire you. Some of your favorites maybe. Because we've talked about your involvement in art, but we haven't really talked about like what kind of art you draw. Like what are you into? Because you are a very kinky person, regardless of what you would like to go deeply into. I won't divulge your secrets. But like what gets you hot, heavy, and excited?
Yeah. So, I mean, I do different kinds of comics, and I'm right now I'm doing a graphic novel that's a memoir about my time in San Francisco, interlaced with these short chapters about queer San Francisco history. Historical comics are really important to me too, but of course my memoir stuff ends up having a lot of dick in it. I mean,
no, not the dick. Oh gosh. Think of the children.
There's nothing like doing a memoir to realize how much dick is in your life, right? Like, oh, right, you have to sort of excavate how much dick there is.
Excavating Dick, the name of my memoir. Right. So this is a very interesting thing. Like anime characters, the Japanese culture is a little less open when it comes to queerness in their manga and anime. Characters exist, but almost always they are definitely like a background character, minus characters like, here's my list. I have, as far as cartoons that are queer, Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but canonically bisexual. The lesbians from Sailor Moon. Uranus and Neptune, they knew what they were doing, calling them Uranus and Neptune. One Piece, sorry to bring that back, does have canonically like trans characters, characters that can switch gender. And there is one very queer kind of ballerina character who's really fucking kick-ass. His name's Bon Clay. But he's super gay. He winks and, you know, he waves and he goes, His feet are literally like swan. He's gay. On point. He's gay.
I mean, So the first, you know, out queer superhero, I mean, besides like Wonder Woman and like, you know, like, I mean, depends on how you want to define queerness, but the first sort of really truly out queer character was Extraño, who was part of the Global Guardians in the DC comics. It was like a C-list DC, and he was from Argentina, and he was this flaming sort of flamboyant illusionist magician.
Naturally,
everybody would call him
not
Auntie.
Evil, right?
No, he was a good guy.
Okay,
yeah, but he was his hairstyle. Oh my goodness. It was definitely like a straight guy who was like, I can create a gay character. I know what gays look like. Right.
Him and Wonder Woman walk into the room and she goes, Kal-El, no. And his hair just goes into flame probably.
Kal-El, no.
You want to talk about bad accents? Do not come from my French accent. Kal-El, no.
Was that's supposed to be
Gal Gadot? Gal Gadot,
oh, right,
you know?
Right, gotcha,
Gotcha. I mean, some of my favorite Marvel queries, definitely Constantine, the shark fucker.
Oh yeah.
And King Shark, the shark that fucks. Because obviously Ivy and Harley Quinn, and they get their own cartoon where they're super queer, which I'd love to see, especially since it's like more recent too.
Yeah, it's nice that, you know, Harley was created as a foil for the Joker, and she was very much in this sort of abusive relationship with the Joker. It was really kind of gross, actually.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, she was really rehabilitated, where she was taken away from that relationship, and now she's paired with Poison Ivy, and it's a much more interesting, you know, complex, real, you know, relationship.
Well, she wasn't Gaga over Joker.
Okay.
The superhero theme, the narrative, the almost the parable or metaphor, however you'd like to look at it, is queer. Regardless of if that character is queer.
Well, absolutely.
The costume and the identity itself is that mirror to a person and their identity and their headspace and like who they are. In so little
their
words.
Secret identity.
Correct. And much also, like a gay person, when they come out and they become themselves and they figure themselves out.
And they have superpowers. They're fabulous and have superpowers and they're awesome outfits. And also, like most of the superheroes are not married with children. They're not living heteronormative lifestyles. Instead, they like their family units, their found family units are the Justice League or the X-Men. They're hanging out with their brothers and sisters and, you know, siblings and having a fabulous time. And it's very, very queer.
I find that so many, not only kinky, but so many queer people gravitate towards nerdy culture because the storytelling and being able to almost cosplay as these characters and put on a mask to take on the world, to be able to come out, to be able to accept yourself in so many different ways.
And the fandoms for a lot of these imaginary worlds are so powerful and have, you know, really delight in taking this material and making it their own. They tend to be very, very active and very creative. And they're constantly sort of demanding things from the source material that oftentimes pushes it into a queerer direction.
That's a perfect segue, Justin, to what I want to go next to. So I want to play a little game with you, which is, what are they into? We name a superhero, supervillain, anybody, and then the other person has to, if you know who the superhero is, let's make it a little more generic. I would like to know what you think they're into. Of course, we're of consenting ages. The versions of characters that we're talking about today are adults that can consent and all of that. I will give you the baton to go first.
Invisible Woman.
Voyeurism. She loves to watch. She loves to watch.
She just makes a little peephole, makes it invisible. I would also say Chastity, because she could just make that shit disappear.
Ooh, right? I didn't think she has her little like barriers, right? She could
and she can nullify, and she can make the use of force field.
Her powers break later on. She gets so fucking powerful.
She's so powerful. She's like the most powerful of the Fantastic Four. She's
Okay, I'm just gonna give you this one. This is a softball. Wolverine.
He's a power bottom. He is like he's getting rearranged by the godly phallus on a regular basis.
So he's just into being destroyed. Okay. I love that. Okay.
I'll go Reed Richards. I'll go Mr. Fantastic since I just did Invincible.
Oh, see, that's not fair because I would say power bottom as well. He can stretch and get around anything, but he could fit into anything too. So I would say Fisting's a pretty good one.
And Bondage, hello.
True, because he can wrap around. Who's playing the game
I'm
here?
So sorry. I'm leading the witness. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. I think he would be into psychological play. Reed Richards.
Really? Oh, of course he's the big brain.
Yeah.
He'd be awful. You really want to slap him and then it would work.
Yeah. Mystique.
Oh, I mean, she is definitely a power top. I mean, she's gonna she is a dominatrix full on, right? I mean, she's gonna just have you tied up in a corner and
I would think role play. Sorry, not to take your
no,
role play.
That's right. Actually, that's a really good point.
I bet she gets off on just tricking the fuck out of people and being I'm your husband. What do you mean?
Oh
Kal-El, no. Sorry.
Kal-El, no.
Where is this coming from?
This is just an unnecessary need to stim right now. Stimming, you know?
No.
What about multiple man?
Like group sex. Group sex.
Right.
Group sex.
Okay,
absolutely.
So here's the question though. Like I would worry that if I had cloning powers, that I would never want to, I would just have sex with myself forever.
No, I'm not, because I'm not attracted to people that are of my same stature. I'm generally attracted to like more daddy bear, a bit more mature than myself and a different body type.
Right, gotcha.
I'm not the type that wants to have a boyfriend that looks exactly like me, you know? Yeah. But that's just me. That's just me. Well, last but not least, Thor.
Obviously electricity.
Easy. Yeah.
It's, you know, and just doing out in the wild, man. Like doing out in the storms and like up in the air.
He pulls a flask out of nowhere, a glass like lager.
Yeah.
Another. And he just starts fucking again.
I also love the idea of like the in the air, like no gravity sort of. I mean, Thor doesn't have that sort of flight necessarily. I mean, it depends, but you know, the characters that can really fly like from all directions. So suddenly you could fuck in every angle because gravity doesn't.
I mean, as long as he's swinging the hammer one way or the other, right? Isn't that how he gets around? Is the hammer moves?
That was the original one. That was really not.
Well, thank you for playing that game with me.
Thank you. That was lovely.
To close out
we both won though, right?
We both win that game, but this next one maybe not so. This next one, I'm just going to be calling hard-hitting questions. These are both ethical but moral, but also just really stupid plot hole questions involving actually a lot of characters we've already talked about today, thankfully. And the first one today from our audience, how do you feel about Jean Grey outing Bobby Drake, aka Iceman, right?
Iceman.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. She did do that. Yeah, that was kind of shitty. That was shitty.
Bitch.
Yeah, she shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
No.
Rude.
Yeah.
Next, Is Wolverine a trans mask icon since he's had so much gender affirming steroided testosterone driven healthcare?
Yeah, I think you could definitely make that case. I mean, he has had a lot of work done. It's a lot of skeletal work, which is not really what I think of when I think of trans healthcare. But
it's definitely gender affirming care. It is gender affirming care. I will say that because that man was made very masculine.
Yes, absolutely. His superpower, of course, is his regeneration and his healing, right? So he can heal.
No, I think it's being sexy. I think that's his superpower. So, could Mystique canonically be not only mom but dad?
Hello, no.
Because I know Azazel is technically not Nightwing.
Yeah, Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler, thank you. One of my favorite superheroes. Yeah. Mystique is his mother.
Yes.
But could she also be father?
No, but isn't there one where she's the father?
Oh, see, we're getting into so many different timelines probably.
I don't.
Is she father? She's father and mother?
No. But yes, I think she could. I would say yes.
Okay, I love that. Last but not least, do you think American comics exude toxic masculinity?
It's a big question because there's a lot of different kinds of American comics. So some of them absolutely do. Absolutely. And I would say the majority of them did until fairly recently. But I think there's been a real reimagining. And I would say that especially comics that are made in some more independent comics become increasingly queer and increasingly made by women. So my students are primarily women and, AFAB non-binary and queer, and there are very few cis straight men. That whole paradigm of straight men doing this, like making comics, is really not true anymore with the younger generation. There's, I'm helping run the San Francisco Pride in Panels. It's a San Francisco queer comics festival at the San Francisco Public Library, February 15th. And we have over 125 creators all in doing exhibiting their work.
Careful.
And
not that kind of event.
Exactly. Yeah. There's panels and workshops and all this. It's completely free to go to, free for all the creators as well. And I think a testament to how much queer content there is being made in comics these days.
And so, go check that out. I would love if we kind of ended today's talk as we get near the tail end, not only plugging yourself. I've got some toys in the bathroom if you need, but I would love to plug some of your favorite artists, creators of like queer, kink, comic, just in general media. I think the first one to name that we'll both name if we don't name it together is Tagame. Yeah. Obviously, Genguro Tagame. I have tons of his books back there. Yeah. Lovely person, great art, very sexy.
And it's just really amazing work. And I would say the other sort of major bara or gay komi artist is Jiraiya, which is
I love
what t-shirt I'm wearing right now. So check out Jiraiya's work as well. Unfortunately, not much of his comics have been translated into English. I don't know if any of it, just part of the collection, the massive collection. But
I bet there's some scanlations online, like for sure. The people that did like the fan scans. That's how I used to read manga back in the day.
Yeah, right.
There were no, if you wanted to keep up with the current chapters of some sort of anime or manga, you'd have to actually find some person who just loved translating chapters of things. So I'm definitely on the more internet savvy side of the comic and art. I'm not, and there's no hierarchy here, but I see a lot more colorful, more vibrant, kind of newer age, for lack of a better term, like kink artists. So I look at people like Boomer SM does a lot of kink fetish art all over Twitter, Instagram. Do you know Andy Warlode?
No.
I need to pull them up, but they're on Instagram. They do a lot of queer artwork. Space Pup Silver, James Newland, Space Pup Silver, that does all the kinky, cartoony sort of artwork. It's very bubbly. It's very cartoony, very reminiscent of Looney Tunes, but kink.
Yeah. Dave Davenport, who I worked with on Hard to Swallow, he does wonderful work. Him and his partner, William O. Tyler, for Tanis Comics. They do great work. Steve McIsaac does really beautiful, really profound material.
Shout out to all of our artists. But also a huge shout out to Justin, of course. Justin, thank you so much for coming on and just chatting and being big old nerds with me today.
It was such a treat. It was really, I rarely do get to hear a Gal Gadot impression so many times in one evening.
Hello. So. Go subscribe and follow Justin wherever they can find you. Where can they find you, Justin?
I'm on Instagram at Justin Hall Comics. I have Justin Hall Awesome Comics is my website.
Regardless of if you enjoy comics, manga, or you're just here to have a gay old time, Justin, what is your safe word today? This is the stand-in daddy moment. Everybody chokes here.
Everybody chokes.
Yeah, and it's not because they're into choking.
I was about to say, could I just say choke?
You could say whatever you want.
Yeah, let's go with choke. Okay.
Because Justin just choked at that question. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this conversation, please go give us a like down below if that's something you enjoy. And if you enjoyed this conversation, Justin and I talked for twice the amount of time over on What's Your Safe Pod over on our podcast. But otherwise, let us know what you would like to talk about next time or any other guests you'd like to have on the show. But don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you all next time. Bye.
I'm working on this graphic novel memoir, so it's about my time in San Francisco, the Radical Fairy House that used to exist on 14th Street. They'd have these wild like solstice parties. They had cut holes in the floors and put a fireman's pole. So there would be like on the top floor, there'd be all these naked hippies drumming and taking acid, and then you'd slide down the pole into the dungeon and fuck your brains out in the dungeon.